Hello and welcome to Earl Lorden Field here in Amherst, Massachusetts. I'm Timothy Brown here with Alex Poliak to my right, and this is our first presentation of UMass baseball this season going up against Albany, and it's been a long road here, Alex, to get here to this field, to find this beautiful setup behind home plate. And we're going to see a lot of action here. You know, what has this journey been like as one of the heads of this beat, Alex?
That's right. So this is the first broadcast for UMass baseball here for WMUA Sports. Obviously on YouTube right now, hoping to get some games on the radio as UMass enters the field for defense for the top of the first inning. It's great. I met Tim Brown in a intro journalism course taught by Professor Zamuth there at UMass, and
Ladies and gentlemen, take a break.
We're going to take a quick break for the national anthem. We'll come back in a second.
Remove your hats as we honor America with the playing of the national anthem.
And back to action here at Earl Lorden Field here in Amherst, Massachusetts. Once again, Timothy Brown here with Alex Poliak. A slight hiccup there, interfering our speaking time with the national anthem. But Alex, as you were saying before, it's been a long road here, and we met talking baseball, and it's a pleasure to be here talking baseball with you today as the Minutemen taking on the University of Albany Great Danes. How can a one-game series like this be really important to the Minutemen at this point in the season?
Well, Tim, UMass is coming off snapping a four-game losing streak Sunday against Fordham. So this is a non-conference matchup for both UMass and for Albany. So this is a great way to build momentum for both teams working into their weekend matchups. UMass trying to build some momentum for a 8-10 conference matchup against Rhode Island, three-game series Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And this is UMass is A10, Albany is America East, and UMass is leading in all categories statistically, except for stolen bases versus Albany. But Albany has a great chance to make a scene, create an upset here, and UMass is trying to get that momentum started, trying to gain some confidence for themselves. And the first opener at Earl Lorden Field and here in Amherst, Massachusetts. So this is a great game going forward.
Absolutely an exciting time here. And now going through the starting lineups for the Minutemen, they'll have Anthony Tirado hitting first and playing center field, followed by Matt Travisano, the shortstop, then Braden Sullivan at second base, Jack Beverly, the third baseman, in the cleanup spot, followed by Carter Hansen, the right fielder and the team home run leader with 5 so far this year. Jared Munoz follows him, then Mark Willie, Michael Toth, Gavin O'Brien, and Sam Bellevue on the bump for UMass. And now for Albany, leading off and currently at the plate, Luke Myers, going to be followed by Luke Filippi and Ryan Ferremi in the hole behind him. More on that lineup to come as Bellevue delivers the first pitch, taken high for ball one as we get underway in the home opener here for the UMass Minutemen between them and the University of Albany Great Danes.
That's right. As Bellevue had a rough start his last outing, 1 2/3 innings.
That one grounded to the shortstop, Travisano. He'll fire it over to first. And out number one, set down. A little bit of Mario music there to start us off in jubilant fashion for the Minutemen. 2 pitches, 1 out.
Yeah, it was a good piece of fielding by Travisano, and just neat play for both.
Now Luke Filippi stepping into the righty batter box here, fouls that first pitch off over the Albany dugout and into the parking lot behind the Mullen Center. Hopefully no cars hit there. It's a close situation.
Some nice sound effects coming from the booth there for your Earl Orden.
Absolutely wonderful to be so close here to the action right behind home plate. That second pitch of the at-bat fired in there for a strike by Bellevue.
Bellevue looking more confident today. Getting the first out is the most important one, at least in a pitcher's mind, to kind of relax themselves and get into the mood of being the starting pitcher.
That one spiked into the ground by Bellevue. 1-2 is the count with 1 down here in the top of the first.
And it's a beautiful day here in Amherst. A little cloudy, but the sun has come out occasionally.
Absolutely. The clouds overhead, but it's still a nice warm day out. I'm assuming everyone's comfortable out there in their uniforms. Maybe a little bit of a Seinfeld effect, wearing cotton, feeling breathable. Bellevue delivers and a swing and a miss. Filippi with the K. And that's 2 outs for the Minutemen.
That was a great pitch. Wasn't off speed. A nice fastball cutting inside on the batter, the right-hander. And Bellevue getting 2 down quick here in the top of the first.
Great to see him get in a rhythm. If you're the Minutemen, as you said, only went 1 1/3 against Towson, gave up 6 runs in what was a difficult game for the Minutemen. As here against Feremi.
And this is a guy to watch.
Fires in strike number 1.
This is a guy to watch out for, UMass does, because Feremi is their top hitter.
Absolutely, and over 1,000 OPS as that one will be outside to the left-handed batter. It's a 1-1 count on Feremi.
Interesting fact is Feremi is not the home runs leader. You see that one over 1,000 OPS, but he is second behind Levy McAllister, who is not playing today, the catcher.
That one shot back up the middle, trying to get to it. Is the UMass center fielder. He'll pick it up. Feremi filing into second base. It'll be a double first hit of the game for the Gaines.
And this right there is what I'm talking about, Tim. Cut the center fielder and the left fielder in 2. And just a beautiful piece of hitting. Center fielder kind of bobbled a little bit. Could have potentially gotten 3, but was able to get it in time to the second baseman.
Absolutely. Split that one right back up the middle. And nice to see there as Logan Morris, the freshman, comes up to the plate for Albany. Another right-hander. That one fired straight down the middle by Bellevue.
A nice, good fastball there. Way to challenge the first pitch. Now he can work off that. First pitch strikes are very important as a pitcher.
Absolutely, and Bellevue's gotten in a good rhythm so far. Checking the runner behind him. That one fouled off to the right again.
Now obviously in a little trouble now. 2 outs, however, but man on second. Situation here could arise. Infield's not in. They're staying it back, trying to play for just first base on a grounder.
For Bellevue, this is the best way you can start in at bat here, getting them down 0-2 with 2 outs. You have a lot of ways you can throw this next pitch. That one high. Take there from Morris. Almost leaning back to get out of the way of that one with some high heat there.
I know. It's really dialing it up. I can tell we don't have a radar in front of us, but we can tell that was definitely a fastball up and in.
Absolutely. Again, Feremi leading off second. Bellevue, the delivery outside. With the slider there, it's 2-2.
Now working kind of back into a problem now because first starting out to that bat, 2 straight strikes, but now 2 straight balls. Now the hitter's kind of back into the game.
Bellevue delivers that one high again. Morris runs it full. So 3-2, 2 outs. Feremi leading off at second base. 3 straight balls now from Bellevue after a pair of strikes to start off the at-bat. That one just a bit outside for Bellevue. Morris, the DH, taking a walk over to first base. Men on first and second now with 2 down. And Cooper Loyal, the shortstop, coming up. Another right-handed hitter for the Danes.
Now UMass here in a little bit of trouble now as 2 outs, but 2 on. Does set up a force at third, but not wanting to face more batters when you want to get out of an inning and 2 outs down.
Bellevue to delivery. That slider notches in there for another strike.
Pretty packed house here at Earl Lorden. Some of the fans still trickling in. You can hear some of the background. It's nice to have that crowd atmosphere.
Absolutely, a 3 p.m. game. Didn't expect it to have as many fans as it does, but UMass fans show up. Another one thrown in there for Bellevue, working that outside part of the plate here against Loyal. So another 0-2 with 2 outs. Got to bear down and attack the zone here still. So that one gets Loyal swinging. 2 Ks for Bellevue in the inning. The Minutemen come out clean after allowing 2 runners on. And up they'll come in the bottom half of the first. What you see in that first inning, that looked real positive for the Minutemen, Alex.
Oh, Bellevue coming out swinging, getting 2 straight outs against the first 2. And that was great after, such a bad first start in his first outing. But yeah, got into a little bit of trouble. Obviously, Feremi got that great double up the middle, or on the kind of between the center fielder and the left fielder, and then a walk. But worked out trouble does Bellevue, and UMass coming to bat now in the bottom of the first.
And on the bump here is Ethan Nardacci for the Albany Great Danes, and he has not exactly had very luxurious starts, may I say, for the Danes so far this year. In fact, he's been more of a reliever.
I believe this will be his first start, as I don't see any stats coming in for him. So,
for them, Ethan Nardacci.
What's it?
Nardacci.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So Nardacci, in the first game of the season for the Danes, they were facing the Lamar Cardinals. They led 3-0 in the 7th inning. Nardacci set down 3 straight batters. Really strong outing from him there. But then the 8th inning, after Albany had added a run to go up 4-0, it was a meltdown on the bump. 7 of the 8 batters that Nardacci faced reached base. Gave up 5 hits, 2 walks, and the only batter who didn't reach base there, it was a sacrifice fly to let another run, and that gave Lamar a 5-4 lead and eventually gave the Cardinals the win there. So a little bit inconsistency after his first inning of work. It'll be interesting to see how he performs here against a tough Minuteman lineup. Who do you think could be a problem for them, Alex?
Well, you always got to look at their top hitters, that being Matt Travisano and Jack Beverly. Not UMass, not known for too much power, but known for a great on-base percentage. Matt Travisano is good at getting on base. Not good at hitting it over that fence on left center and over the ivy, over the hedge here at Earl Lorden Field, but they'll get on base on you. They're good at walks, good at singles, just making sure that they're putting themselves in the position to potentially score.
Absolutely. Keeping the line moving is definitely a mentality for the Minutemen, and something that Coach Matt Reynolds has talked about a lot is just getting good at-bats to string together. So that's a goal and something you can definitely see here with Anthony Tirado leading off for UMass. The team's lead in batting average, hitting an even 300 with a 440 on-base percentage, as he takes ball 1 here from Nardacci.
Yeah, he's a lefty here. Lefty-righty situation, the Nardacci, a righty there, and it's going to be this is already quite a small advantage for UMass.
Another one outside and high there. 2 straight balls to start off for Nardacci.
Now this first at-batter for a pitcher's eyes, the most important to get out, because that's, as for same for Bellevue, really builds momentum.
3 straight balls there. Tirado staying patient. Hasn't even lifted the bat off his shoulder yet.
And that's what UMass will do. They'll try to work the walk, and that's important for for getting more people in position.
Held the bunt out there and let the strike fly by, did Tirado. 3-1 count now. Nardacci trying to work back in after starting out with 3 straight balls. That one inside, ball 4. A quick walk there for Tirado.
Batting second for the Minutemen, number 24, Matt Travisano.
So Matt Travisano, the shortstop, coming up for the Minutemen after making a nice play there to start off that first inning with an out.
We always a good terminology. Is good. Good defense leads to good offense. And Matt Travisano, obviously, when you're a defender making a play, it sometimes leads into some good hitting.
That one inside, ball 1 on Travisano. And definitely want to keep your eye on Tirado on the base paths here. He's been known to be a little bit of a threat. He takes that big lead from first. That one perfectly on the high part of the zone for a strike. One on Travisano. Nardacci checks the runner. Now throws it in, another perfect high strike.
Yeah, 1-2 now for Travisano. He looks like he wants to work in that bat here, try to wear out Nardacci a little bit. But 1-2 now, so he's got to choke up and try to get some contact.
Throw over to first, checking on Tirado. He slid in safely. Not any kind of Chinese mustard on that throw over there to
No,
first.
not at all.
Just a simple check. That pitch outside. Travisano now with a 2-2 count.
Yeah, now a bit more in a comfortable position is Travisano. He's going to try to make some contact here.
Swing and a miss by Matt Travisano. That one fired right down the pipe, and he couldn't catch up to it.
Yeah, that was a great piece of pitching by Nardacci. Challenged him with a fastball, and he won that battle. And he swung right through it, right down the middle, too, about chest height. Did not have a chance for Travisano.
Just a come-and-get-it heater, and Travisano couldn't get it. So now stepping in for the Minutemen, Braden Sullivan, the second baseman.
Braden Sullivan starting off the season about average, around 269 average on the year. Not getting the highest average,
But Braden getting on base here, over 400 in the on-base percentage category as Tirado takes off, and he'll have a free steal of second base.
It's great what you mentioned there is Tirado's a speedster. And
Absolutely.
took a nice jump right there. Obviously, the pitch was a bit low, and the catcher fumbled the ball a little bit.
Yeah,
but
catcher Thomas McElwee back there, as opposed to the typical McAllister for the Great Danes. And he dropped the ball there before he could even get a throw off. Either way, it looks like Tirado got a great jump as that one fired in for a strike. 1-1 here for Sullivan.
looks like Brandon Sullivan called time. There was a little bit of confusion about the umpire telling him to get back in the box. 1-2 the count now, runner on second.
Sullivan was standing there with a hand off the bat looking at the umpire while that strike flew by. Back in now, grounded up the middle. Shortstop fires it over, and a good pick by the first baseman for Remy. And Tirado moves over to third base with that grounder.
However, 2 outs now, so sac fly is out of question. But on a grounder, any contact, third base, Tirado is going to be running.
A solid play there by Loyal Cooper to track that ball in with Tirado running in front of him. Though you may see it every day, it's still a difficult play to make. As fouled back there for Jack Beverly. 2 outs with Tirado on third.
Adachi is throwing strikes, not trying to intimidate the batter. He's trying to throw him.
Absolutely, and that's what every coach wants to see as he fires in another one on the low outside corner there. Bit of questioning from Beverly as to that call, but it looked solid from here. Torado dancing down that third baseline, and a swing and a miss from Beverly. So with the threat on third base, Nardacci bears down and gets the strikeout. 0-0 after the first, and a great showing there from Nardacci despite his resume coming into this one, Alex.
Yeah, Nardacci was throwing strikes and challenging the batters here for UMass. Obviously gave up that initial walk, but no hits allowed for the Great Danes. And even though a runner on third left him out, it's been a pretty even battle thus far. Runners are getting on base, but nothing's happening in terms of scoring. See if Bellevue will have a good second up.
Absolutely, and it's a fun one so far. I'll say you got to love rubber matches, and in that first inning between these two teams, these pitchers aren't afraid to throw strikes. They're not trying to nibble parts of the zone. They're getting in there, they're being aggressive, and that's going to lead to some aggressive batters, which we've seen so far from Albany, and we've seen UMass with a little bit more patience, obviously, drawing the walk there to begin, getting around the bags, which is something they've done well all year. What do you think the difference maker is going to be in this game, Alex?
I think it's going to be whoever can score the first run at this point right now, given it's a sort of scoreless game so far. But you got to remember, only the first inning gone by now, second now coming up, so anything can happen. Something I want to mention is in college baseball, you can use metal bats, and it's slightly different. The walls are 400 deep, 330 on both ends, but the ball can get out pretty quick. Both teams not known for a lot of home runs, but with a snap of a baseball bat, crack of a baseball bat, could be 1-0 real quick. So really going to be who can put up the runs first.
Yeah, absolutely. And putting up a run here, as we've said, these two pitchers in this matchup have had their gripes with giving up runs. It could knock off some momentum as Anthony Scabarino leads off the top of the second here for Albany. Sam Bellevue out of the windup. Fires that one high and outside. Easy take there for Scarabino.
And Bellevue really amping that fastball up. That one, I got to guess that was going to be over 90 miles an hour because that was just a split second coming in.
That one grounded over to second base. Bobbled, and play still made narrowly by the Minutemen.
That was a great play there by the second baseman. And he bobbled it a little bit. He got kind of caught up with the ball, dribbled in, and he just had a bare hand toss to the first baseman. But great play in time as the speedy UAlbany runner was thrown out.
Yeah, Braden Sullivan with the bobble there. But great job of staying with it. That's what every baseball coach wants to see. As that one, first pitch, hits the batter, Aaron Herbst. And he'll take a ginger walk over to first base after getting nailed in the shoulder right there.
Batting eighth, number 11.
Yeah, that was a rough pitch. It was an inside fastball that just went too far in on a Herbst. And now another base runner for UAlbany here.
Now Thomas McElwee coming up, the catcher for the Danes. And strike one, fired on the inside part of the plate there for Bellevue. (0-1) on McElwee. That one just a bit low there. Some oohs and ahs from the crowd here at Earl Lorden Field.
Oh, Billy's been really dialing it up on the fastball and such, but runner on now. He's got to be careful.
That one sneaks in to the top of the zone. McElwee looks over to his third base coach for answers. It's a 1-2 count, 1 out. That one swing and miss, but through the legs of the catcher.
Yeah, no third strike running when there's a man on first. So he's automatically out, 2 outs now, but the runner did move to second on the drop third strike.
Aaron Herbst
Now batting
at second
number
base
3,
now.
Lewis Caleb.
Now Lewis Caleb steps in for Albany. In a mirror situation of the first inning with a man on second and 2 outs here from the Minutemen, as Bellevue delivers that one high.
Yeah, 1 on second and 2 outs, but you got to watch. If it's an exact mirror situation, there's going to be a walk right here, but 1-0 count right now.
That one again, just over the top of the zone, 2-0 for Lewis Caleb. Bellevue taking it down there through the middle of the zone for strike number 1.
It's all about consecutive strikes now. Is he going to challenge the batter on another pitch? Because now the hitter's seen one now, and at least when I was playing, if I saw a strike, I'm swinging at the next.
That one grounded over to second base for Sullivan. He picks it up, fires it over to Mark Willie, and that retires the side here as the middle of the second inning is coming through. Bottom of the second coming up for the Minutemen, 0-0 between Albany and UMass. Getting back to action here at Earl Lloyden Field, we've got a switch of the commentators here. Dylan Shalom now to my left, and thank you very much for Alex Poliak for sitting in. He did a wonderful job while he was here. But now, Dylan, you come in here, a beautiful 0-0 situation coming into this ball game. How excited are you to be broadcasting some UMass baseball here?
Happy to be here for the first broadcast on WMUA 91.1 Amherst for UMass baseball. Lefty batter Carter Hansen up to bat now on an 0-1 count.
And Nardacci still in on the bump for Albany. Fires in a strike there after delivering a ball for the first pitch of the at-bat. 1-1 on Hansen, the home run leader of the Minutemen with 5 so far this year. It's Nardacci throwing that one low.
Already 5 home runs for Hansen this season. 3 away from his total from last year where he had 8.
And the Minutemen outfielder stepping up big this year as he'll rip that one into right center field. Will get down in the gap, turning from second and flying into second base there.
And a good turn of the shoulder there. Knocks that right into the gap where no one is. Extra bases for Hansen, putting them in a good position to get the first points on the board, or first run on the board. And it's the freshman Jared Munoz who's up to bat.
And first hit of the day there for the Minutemen as Munoz comes up someone who's shown a lot of promise in the Minuteman roster this year. Redshirted the previous 2 seasons and now getting a chance in this lineup.
And Munoz had 2 hits against Towson in that 15-20 loss. College baseball scores are crazy sometimes.
Insane. But we've got a calm one here as swing and a miss there for Munoz, 0-2 on him.
Yeah, he had 2 hits against Towson, 4 RBIs, and then he struck out twice in the season opener, or A10 opener against Davidson.
Nardacci delivering that one high, deflects off of Munoz, and he'll head over to first base. The second hit batter of this evening between the 2 teams, the first for Nardacci.
We're just a few games away from really hitting peak baseball weather. Still a little bit chilly out here.
Absolutely, got to have the long sleeve on, as see many Minutemen players with the undershirts, but definitely some Swifts crack of the bat here that we'll see throughout this cold weather in New England as Mark Willie steps in and takes that for ball 1 inside.
First and second, no outs, perfect position for the Minutemen to go out to an early lead.
Haven't had too much offensive momentum so far, and that's been a problem for the Minutemen so far this season, is establishing an offensive rhythm. They've been very up and down throughout the year. Of course, having a down series against Fordham after scoring 15 in a loss against Towson. So just trying to scrap together momentum here early against a tough Albany Great Dane team. Delivery by Nardacci, swing and a miss there from Willie. It's 2-1 on the Minuteman first baseman.
And when Nardacci's thrown it high, he's had more success from swinging batters. They've been swinging. They haven't been getting contact on the higher pitches. We'll be interested to see whether or not he keeps on going to it.
That one inside, third in that location. This at bat for Willie, and he's been patient, working a 3-1 count here with runners on first and second. That one fired down the pipe. Count is full on Willie. As Nardacci still looks to be settled in here.
And a full count is pretty much just its own mental sport.
A look back there from Nardacci to Hansen, who is getting too big of a lead off second base for his liking. That one fired in. Hansen taken off for third, and he's safe. So strikeout for Willie. Hansen steals third to put runners on the corners here as Munoz remains at first. Michael Toth coming in to bat for the Minutemen. With 1 out, one thing you absolutely don't want to do here if you're Toth is hit into a double play. Definitely not going to see too many balls to elevate, so got to keep your mind straight as he hits that one to the shortstop. Double play opportunity. That one almost pulls the first baseman off the bag, but it is turned for Albany as they get out of the threatening man on the corners to keep it 0-0 after the second.
Call that a little bit of a commentator's curse. You're waiting for the not double play. Ends up hitting it on the first pitch. Nearly took the first baseman off the bag with the throw, but it's going to be a scoreless inning on what looked to be so promised for this Minutemen baseball team.
Absolutely, and a sound there from Loyal, the shortstop for the Danes there, delivering solidly to second, and even though it wasn't a perfect throw over to first, for Remy keeping his foot on the bag to seal off that inning. And now Bellevue coming out here for his third inning of work, as he's had a solid pair of innings to start. Of course, you mentioned that Towson game. He was the starter there, and he gave up 6 runs through 1 1/3 innings. So positive sign for the Minuteman to see him getting a rhythm early.
Yeah, absolutely good to see. The pitching in this game is going to be what decides it. Again, college baseball has some wonky scores. We'll see some high-scoring games, and the longer you can keep it close, the longer you can keep the scoring to a minimum, the better chance you have to win the game. at the end of the day, the defensive teams are the teams that win championships.
And coming up for Albany at the top of the order, they got Luke Myers, Luke Filippi, and Ryan Ferremi. Ferremi, of course, had the only hit of the game for Albany to start off with that double in the left center gap. And he's obviously a big power threat that the Minutemen have got to look out for. Still 2 batters ahead of him. Albany yet to create too much offensive momentum where they've had a pair of runners even get on base in a row. So the Minutemen one step on them there after a strong bottom of the second.
It's top of the order now for Albany. They get a fresh start. Luke Myers 0 for 1 on the day. It's his second chance at the plate.
Bellevue spikes that one to the dirt in front of home plate. Ball number 1. Myers, the righty second baseman, takes that one high. Back-to-back balls to start off the third here for UMass.
You don't want to put yourself in too deep of a position as a pitcher where you're throwing to hitters' counts.
That one sneaks into the top of the zone there. Bellevue settling back in here. Definitely going to want some effort late here from him to get deep into this game after a long bullpen game against Fordham, at least a bullpen series. That was tough.
And it was a tough bullpen series against Fordham. You can afford to play some dirty baseball in these non-con games a little bit. Against Fordham, you can't. In this game, it could kind of be a little bit more exfoliating. You want to see a game that's a little bit more showing of your players. It's a build-up. Not in these conference games, though.
Full count here on Myers. That one grounded back up the middle. Travisano collects, fires over to first, and gets the out. Great play there by Travisano, firing that one over. Really needed some speed on it with how slowly that ball was hit back up the middle.
Yeah, and it was a really good regather there by Travisano. He knew where the ball was going, turned his body, able to run in the direction and make the good throw to get Myers out at first.
So now Luke Filippi up for Albany. That first pitch barely outside. You've seen Bellevue really trying to work that outside corner on righties with his slider. He's been working it pretty phonetically, as that one just a bit high, it seems, or inside. 2-0 on Filippi. One down here in the top of the third. That one fired in for a strike. Similar start to the last at bat for Bellevue.
They'll take a repeat.
Absolutely. If Travisano wants to keep making incredible plays like that.
That's why you do the conditioning at the start of the year.
That one fouled back to the backstop. Count evens up at 2-2.
Carbon copy.
I'm sure the Minutemen would take a carbon copy of every inning, seeing those zeros on the board right now. That one low and outside. Count is full now on Filippi.
The mental game of a full count. I was starting to talk about it before UMass tried to steal a base. It's really a 1v1 between the pitcher and the hitter in a way that it isn't for the rest of the game.
That one fired right down the middle, fouled off the mask of the UMass catcher.
It's got to be terrifying.
Absolutely. I only caught once in my life. I got hit by a ball, and I said, no more, I'm pitching. That one right down the middle, grounded to the second baseman, Sullivan. A back pick on the slide, throws it over to Willie, and another incredible play by the UMass middle infield.
And the field is coming to play today for the Minutemen. That's 2 straight plays by the middle infield that have been hit saving.
Absolutely incredible play there by Sullivan. Earlier in this game, he had a ground ball to his left where he bobbled it a bit, still made the sound play and got the out, but they're showing some smoothness there at second base. In a position a lot of people disrespect. As Bellevue fires the first strike in there.
Raya Feremi, the only guy on Albany to get on base today.
Yeah, Feremi got a lot of power in him, over 1,000 OPS, the only one on Albany with such a stat as that. Next pitch goes low, 1-1 on Feremi now. Fired down the middle, 1-2 with 2 outs here in the top of the third.
Good off-speed pitch there. He's been going to his heater a lot.
Absolutely froze the batter right there with off-speed right down the pipe. That one goes low, fouled off down the first baseline by Feremi. As the sun starts to peek out of the clouds here at Earl Lloyden Field, brightening up a little bit. Bellevue, the delivery, fouled again. This time to the left over the UMass bullpen.
I don't know what that was.
You know, I've heard it a couple times. I still couldn't explain it to you, Dylan.
Well, as we're hearing more, maybe we'll get an explanation at some point.
Sometimes baseball is just undescribable. So that one goes low for ball number 2.
Look at the sun peeking out now.
It's beautiful, right? Makes you feel like baseball is truly here. Of course, opening day in the MLB tomorrow, an exciting time for a lot of fans.
Do you not count the Soul Series as opening day?
Not personally. I mean,
It's the opening day.
it's the opening day.
But it's not opening day.
Exactly.
Okay.
When I see opening day, even as a Red Sox fan, I see Yankee Stadium, I see Dodger Stadium, I see Fenway Park. Of course, the Tokyo Dome is beautiful. It's amazing, but it's an American-born sport. As here Feremi runs the count full. Locked in a battle here with Bellevue. That one rides high. And a well-earned walk there for Ryan Feremi.
Great discipline there from him. Not on that pitch necessarily. That one was clear. But there were other pitches in that at-bat where he'd foul it off or he would be stationed low, made sure not to swing at it. You often see those low pitches get these guys.
Absolutely strutting his stuff there as one of the smartest hitters in this Albany lineup as Logan Morris, the DH, comes in for his second at-bat of the day. 2 outs, and Feremi leading off at first. Another one high there.
Frustrated Bellevue there, punching his knee.
Yeah, you don't want to see that from a guy who's had his issues with the game getting away from him before.
Still 2 outs, only a guy on first.
That one fired in, popped up. Sullivan tracking it minorly into the outfield, and he'll take it down. That'll close out the top of the third here. Once again, 0-0, and Bellevue making good work of this Albany lineup.
It's a good period from the fielding, or good inning for the fielding from this UMass team. The middle infield made some big plays in order to keep the scores at 0. So we're going to now head to the bottom of the third inning.
Absolutely, and like you mentioned there, incredible plays, both Braden Sullivan with that sliding back pick over there at second base, and of course Matt Travisano tracking that slow ground ball. And sound work, of course, always by Mark Willie at first, something that you can't always expect, but you have come to expect from the Minuteman first baseman.
Be interesting to see how the fielding stays as the rotation goes for UMass, how different the play is going to be as the new pitchers come into the game.
And now, looking at the offensive part of the Minutemen's game, Nardacci, I mentioned to begin the broadcast, hasn't exactly had too many strong outings this season. Hasn't made it past his first inning of work very cleanly, but now in this one, heading into the third, has only given up one hit, and he's flying on the mound. So what can the Minutemen do to break up his momentum?
They have to stop swinging. They've been swinging at everything that has hit the glove, and they really need to just make the pitch count go up. It's only been 15 pitches or so an inning. Tire out the arm, and then the mistakes will come. And if the mistakes don't come, and he gets tired anyway, and you get new pitchers in the game, relievers coming in. Albany's not a particularly deep pitching team. I think that UMass just needs to stick to their plate discipline and not try to force a run off of nothing.
Absolutely, and coming up here for the Minutemen, Gavin O'Brien, the left fielder, got a 250 average on the year, 348 on base. Not the biggest power guy, but definitely someone you can rely on to just get on for you every once in a while. So Nardacci digs in again. Pitching out of the stretch here. Haven't seen him turn to a windup at all as he's fires in strike number one there to start off the bottom of the third.
And O'Brien, 250 batting average, 348 OBP. Nothing to write home about, but it's his first season, still getting the grasps of the game.
Swing and miss for strike two. Now the third pitch coming. He'll watch it go by, a backwards K for the first time in this game. And like you said, Dylan, you want them to stop swinging. With the way Nardacci's locked in, that could be a problem as well.
Well, we'll see how that ends up panning out if he wants to keep throwing into the zone on 2 straight counts.
Absolutely daring there to attack the zone on an 0-2. Definitely caught the batter by surprise. As Anthony Tirado stepping back in, UMass center fielder with his second at-bat of the day. Worked a walk his first time up, as that one will fly through the outside part of the zone for strike number one. It's a 1-1 count.
It's a freshman-heavy lineup.
Yeah, a lot of young power. Can produce some great outcomes when they hit their highs, but when they hit their lows, it really looks like a low for UMass. So that one flying back to the backstop. It's a 2-1 count. Tirado fouls that one back. Evens it up.
It's the second one that's been launched into the parking lot within the last couple of at-bats.
I mentioned it to Alex. I'm not sure how many cars are going to make it out of here intact. Good eye there from Anthony Tirado, watching the breaking ball go by, making it a 3-2 count here in the bottom of the third. That one painted near the outside, just barely, and Tirado will take his second walk of the game.
Now batting for the Minutemen.
Stop swimming.
24.
Swinging.
Matt Travisano.
It's a great call, Dylan. And one of the best eyes in this UMass lineup. Watch 4 balls go by. So now Matt Travisano follows him up. Flies that one into the right center field gap. Getting under it is the Albany center fielder. Now 2 away.
And not to say not to swing at that. That's a ball right over the middle of the plate. You knock that one. Sometimes it just doesn't fall your way. But first pitch, not really wearing out the arm.
Yeah, absolutely. For a guy whose main role on this team was a reliever. He's certainly making quick work of this UMass lineup as Braden Sullivan grounds it over to shortstop. What a play there by Cooper Loyal to fire it over to first while running over to third. Crossbody throw, and that'll end the inning for the Minutemen with just a walk from Tirado. And not much offensive momentum found there. The Minutemen, of course, had 2 batters on in the first, found themselves with guys on the corners. Excuse me, in the second inning, they found themselves with men on the corners and couldn't knock them in. And now it seems like Nardacci has the opportunity to just...
An unspoken part about that play. Feremi came pretty far off of his plate again, leaning forward to pick that the throw off. That's the second time that he's closed out an inning with a great play at first base.
Absolutely. Feremi is one of the best all-around players here so far for Albany. He's shown the power, he's shown patience at the plate, getting a walk, and been solid at first base, which is something you always need.
Bellevue getting back out there for his 4th inning of pitching. Or it will be a switch in the pitching. They're going to be going to a new pitcher on the mound after just the J.J. Blanchard, the freshman from Framingham. Right-handed pitcher.
This is Blanchard's first appearance of the season. So if it took a while for us to find him, you know why.
He's warming up out there. He got 45 seconds to get his pickings, and we've got a collegiate baseball debut on our hands. Let's see what we can see.
Absolutely should be a fun one. Going up against the middle part of this Albany order. Cooper Loyal, the shortstop, in the 5-hole. He's going to be hitting first here.
In a 0-0 game, this is a ballsy play.
Absolutely. It's a strong move from the coaching staff over there. Matt Reynolds choosing to make a debut in this spot. But you did see a lot of frustration there from Bellevue to end that inning. You don't want this game to get away from him with how explosive the Danes could be. Firing in a strike there. Start off his collegiate debut is Blanchard. That one low and in the dirt. 1-1 on Loyal to start off this 4th inning. That one fouled back. Blanchard not afraid to be attacking the zone here. And that's 2 ways you can look at it if you're a pitcher making your debut. You can have no nerves and say this is the way it goes, or you can be nervous and have some of the yips. And no nerves there for Blanchard, firing it right down the middle, a swing and a miss from Loyal. That's out number 1 on the K.
Great first pitching appearance there. Striking out his first batter. And Blanchard is no stranger to coming in as a freshman and coming in hot. He was his high school team's rising star in his freshman season. Ended up getting 100 strikeouts in his junior year of high school.
It's amazing as that one rocked into right field, and an excellent play from the Minutemen to put that one down.
It's a great catch there.
Carter Hansen making the leaping grab there. Odell Beckham-like.
Yeah, I was going to say, he reached his arm out pretty far. It wasn't quite a robbery. I think it would have landed in the field of play, but a great catch there by Hansen to shorten this inning and out.
Yeah, definitely a powerful stroke there from Scarabino to get it out to right field. But now 2 down here in the top of the 4th as Blanchard delivers ball 1. Aaron Herbst at the plate after being hit in the shoulder in his first at-bat. Swing and a miss there. It'll be 1-2 on Herbst. Excuse me, 1-1. That one grounded. Home plate umpire calling it off, saying it's a foul ball. Matt Reynolds not happy about it, coming out onto the field to have a discussion.
Come on, JJ, sit him down, kid.
Very animated on the sideline there.
Absolutely.
And from our vantage point, we couldn't really tell whether or not it did hit his foot or it just went into the ground. But based on the reactions of the crowd and the reactions of the players and clearly Coach Reynolds, not quite.
And not a favorable call for the Minutemen, we'll say. It's the 1-2 on Herbst. Blanchard fires that one on the outside part of the plate, ball number 2. It's 2-2, 2 out. Bags are empty for Herbst. As Blanchard works in his collegiate debut. That one fouled off. They'll go again. Blanchard the fire again, down low. Takes it up to a full count here for Herbst.
First full count that Blanchard's going to face. Let's see what's in his stomach.
That one high. An easy take there for Herbst. Takes it from a 1-2 to a full count and a walk. So now a man on for Albany with 2 outs in the top of the 4th. And Thomas McElway, the catcher, coming up for Albany. Like many of their Albany batters, is hitless so far. Right there, fouls it off towards right field. Hansen ticking towards it, and it'll be out of play.
So 1 strike to start the count for Blanchard.
Oh, 1 on the Danes catcher. Blanchard, ball 1 low right there.
Daring the batter to swing the bat there low.
Come on, right at him. Come on.
Minuteman freshman delivery high again. 2-1. Seems to be knocked out of rhythm after that at bat against Herbst. That's a big example of a veteran doing their job right there, working the count, and making a pitcher get off his game a little bit. It's that one high again, nearing the umpire's head.
And a hitter's count now for McElway.
3-1, 2 outs. Herbst leading off of first for the Danes. Blanchard with the split in his stance. Fires, Herbst takes off. And the walk. So 2 men on now with McElwee taking the walk there. UMass pitching coach coming out to talk to Blanchard. with back-to-back walks here after back-to-back outs to start his collegiate debut. Now coming up for Albany, their 8-hitter, who is Caleb, who is 0 for 1 on the day. And then it'll come back to the top of the order there with Luke Myers, so a bit of a dangerous situation here for Blanchard. And it all starts with that ball being called a foul instead of a grounder in front of first base there.
Now batting, number 3, Lewis.
Still 2 outs in the count. Still favorable position for the pitcher to be in.
I can tell you they definitely gave him some good advice there, not like the advice I would get in Little League of just throw strikes.
I think there's probably some big coaching differences between Little League and
That one
college game.
fly to center field. And UMass puts away the side there after a small hiccup from Blanchard with 2 walks. Bottom of the 4th coming up after Anthony Tirado reeled in the final out there on a high fly to center field. Still 0-0 between UMass and Albany here in the middle of the 4th. And like you said, Dylan, you want to see the bat staying on the shoulder a little bit more here. We'll see if we have Nardacci still coming out. No, we'll actually have a switch of the pitchers here. So, of course, Nardacci had an incredible first 3 innings, but as a reliever, definitely getting gassed after that 3rd appearance. Appears we may have another debut here.
Hey, it's first time for everything.
Right.
Now pitching for the Great Danes.
Aiden Gelbsman,
Aiden Gelbsman.
redshirt freshman out of Onoweta, New York. That's a fun name to say.
Oneonta, no?
Oneonta?
Yeah,
I'm not a New Yorker.
I'm a New Yorker. I got the geography down.
Please, enlighten me, Dylan.
Yeah. That's that part of New York where there's pretty much nothing, but still New York.
So it's the first action of the season for Gelbsman. Last year, pitched 1 1/3 inning and didn't have a great time. Gave up 3 hits, 5 earned runs with 3 walks. Ended the season with a 33.75 ERA. Something he'll definitely be looking to improve on here in his first outing of the 2025 season.
And again, another guy that's done really well with his performances before coming in to the collegiate game. All-Conference Player 2022. Daily Star Baseball Player of the Year in 2022. So we'll see how quickly he's able to make that leap from high school ball to college ball. He's sat for a year, played a couple innings, but nothing quite like the real thing, as he will be making his season debut today against the Minutemen.
Leading off for the Minutemen, number 11, Jack Beverly.
Beverly at bat now.
The Minuteman third baseman with a 279 average on the season that's tied for 3rd on the team. As he lines that one back up the middle for a single here to start off the bottom of the 4th. First pitch out of Gelbsman's hand goes right back into center field. An excellent swing there for Beverly.
Now you get Hansen coming up to bat after the 1-pitch single. Hansen been on base with a double before, had the big catch to end the inning. And the senior from Bloomington, Minnesota will look to open the scoring here at the bottom of the 4th.
Lefty on lefty matchup here as Gelbsman fires in the curveball. That's a difficult one to see if you're a lefty.
It was inside, hard for him to handle.
Leading off of first is Beverly. Gelsman fires low. Can keep a more watchful eye on the batters at first base there.
He's gone fast, and then this at bat, he's gone 2 off speed.
Staring down. The runner at first now firing into the plate. Sneaks into the outside part of the zone. Strike number 2 on Hansen. Gelsman fires that one low between the legs of the catcher. McElwee will grab it at the backstop, and advancing to second there is Sullivan.
And that caught me off guard, too, because he didn't really wind up when he made that pitch. He went back, and he kind of just went fully into the motion without fully reaching back and making the throw.
As I mentioned, a debut of any kind, you're going to have some nerves. And, of course, Blanchard embraced it with full force. We'll see how Gelsman adjusts here. So that one grounded to the right side of the infield for Hansen. Played by the second baseman. It's the first out of the inning for UMass as Sullivan advances to third on that grounder.
Again, a heads-up play by Sullivan to just take the base right away. No if, buts, or maybes.
Good base running fundamentals there. Now you've got 1 out and a man on third for Jared Munoz. So that ball gets away from McElwee.
I'm enjoying these sound effects going on at the
Absolutely.
stadium.
It's entertaining here.
I'm trying not to laugh.
I may come to more games as a fan if I had known about this. So that one fired in for a strike by Gelsman. Munoz pops that one up in foul ground. The first baseman chasing after it. It'll be out number 2. We don't really have an angle to look at there, unfortunately, but looks like it was reeled in.
Yeah, and I got a slight look at the glove. I didn't quite see his body, but I saw the ball drop into the glove. Now it's a 2-out man on third situation for Aiden Gelbsman pitching.
Mark Willie's at the plate here. Another lefty-lefty matchup. Definitely some strategy here from Albany, seeing a heavy concentration of lefties early in UMass's order. 0-1 on Willie as that one gets behind the backstop. Coming in to score. UMass takes a 1-0 lead on the wild pitch. So no hitting necessary after the initial single there from Jack Beverly as he comes around to score on his own.
Again, just being aware, knowing what's going on. Just makes a simple jog over to home off of the pitcher's own volition.
That one a ball outside now for Gelsman. 2-1 on Willie. Willie grounds it over to second base. Fundamental play there for Albany. So they get out of the 4th inning, giving up 1 run. Jack Beverly making his way around the bags. UMass with a 1-0 lead after 4.
For the Minutemen, after the bottom of the 4th, 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base.
It's going to be a big inning now for Blanchard. Back out on the mound.
Yeah, interesting to see him get another inning of work here after struggling late in the 3rd. the fourth. Now at the top of the fifth. What do you want to see from, the Minuteman defense just to keep this momentum going? What's been working so far?
Well, the pitching has been good up to this point. Blanchard had a couple of slips up. Bellevue had maybe one or two slipped up. But the pitching's been really good defensively. They've made some plays. They had the big play coming at the end of the last inning where ball was going up and it looked like it could have been going all the way. It was caught on the first base line, nearly a home run. It was Carter Hansen who was able to come up with an impressive grab. And then a couple of really good plays from the inside infield. That's been kind of the bread and butter to UMass's defense this season. And more of the same would be my short answer to that question.
Absolutely. As Albany still looking for a way to spark this offense. Coming back to the top of the order here with Luke Myers, 0 for 2 on the day. As he's followed by Luke Filippi and Ryan Feremi. Feremi still with the lone hit for the Minutemen, for the Danes against the Minutemen.
The Great Danes.
The Great Danes.
What establishes a Dane to be great?
I believe it's size.
Size?
Well, you say something is great, greater than in terms of numbers.
Yeah.
3 is greater than 1.
So what would
And so far, 1 is greater than none for the Minutemen.
What would an ungreat Dane be?
Maybe mixed with a Chihuahua.
What would a good Dane be? Yeah, I'll stop.
Attempted bunt there from Myers. Watches that one go by for strike number 2. As we have a discussion here between the Albany bench and their third base coach, I believe. Back to play here with Blanchard. 0-2 count in front of him on Myers. Myers fouls that one back. Once again into the Mullins parking lot.
And every time I hear that broken glass sound effect from the stadium, I know nothing's breaking because I'm watching it, but I have the headphones in.
It's incredible work by the sound engineers here.
Perfect
they
curation.
As grounder back up the middle there for Myers. Be a single second hit of the day for Albany. And a good sign there, getting the leadoff runner on if you're a Great Dane fan.
And that was not more of the same from the interior infield. The ball that could have been fielded.
Definitely a tough play, though, with how that was sent right up the middle.
Definitely spread out between the two, the shortstop and the second baseman, and wasn't easy for Blanchard to reach down and maybe get a touch on it.
It's now up for Albany, Luke Filippi, as foul tip. Strike 1 there.
He didn't get a touch on that. That was just a high throw to the glove. That's my go-to pitch in the show.
It's good. It's a good take. I usually go slider right on that outside edge, which, of course, the Minutemen have a couple times. That one lined into the center by Filippi, reeled in by Tirado. Barely had to move for out number 1 there.
It's crazy. Launched right into his hand.
Speaking of MLB The Show, that looks like a perfect right there.
So annoying that the perfects aren't home runs.
Now batting, number 5.
It's about as real as it can get. That's how baseball goes sometimes.
I know, but you get the perfect timing.
And you just feel so good. These guys have to, too. You can't feel it on your hands.
No,
it's flying out there right into the glove.
Of course.
Up at bat here, Ryan Feremi. Of course, the only other hit for Albany on the day with that double in the left center field gap. One 0 count on him right now. Blanchard the fire. Down below the knees.
Again, especially in only a 1-out inning, you don't want to dig yourself into a hole against the batter. And especially Ryan Feremi, who's been the batter to watch out for from this Great Dane team.
I know I've done it before. I guess I'll do it again just to keep it even. A double play would be huge here for UMass as that one's popped up. Toth chasing after it, and Beverly reels it in right near the UMass dugout on that foul pop fly, out number 2 in the inning.
I won't lie to you. When that ball started going up, it looked like it was heading towards either this bleacher right next to us or our table. You could tell why I was never an outfielder, because it was never even close.
Definitely a little bit of twirling action in the air there. Give yourself a little credit, Dylan. Though you're no Jack Beverly, I'll say that.
Yeah.
Logan Morris digging in now. Takes ball number 1 against Blanchard.
See what kind of player I am at that softball game later this year.
Oh, we'll see it. I'll be on the collegiate team, of course.
Of course.
My great friends over there. And Dylan Schrader going
What
with
do you mean
WMUA.
traitor? No, you're the
That
traitor,
one.
if anything.
Fouled back. Hits the warm-up batter in the head.
Traitor. You're the one calling a game for a radio station that you're playing against.
I'm also writing for the game afterwards, so how about that?
Oh, look at you, double tasking.
Morris grounds that one to second. A beautifully ran hit and run there. I know my high school coach, his mouth is watering at that one as the UMass second baseman, Braden Sullivan, came over to cover second base. And that ground ball fired right where he was supposed to be playing.
Number 13, Cooper Loyal.
Still 2 outs. Still a very good chance to get out of this inning unscathed.
Now runners on the corners for Albany, their biggest threat so far in this game. As Cooper Loyal, the shortstop, comes up, the righty, 0 for 2 so far on the day. Blanchard close to sneaking that into the top of the zone with the off speed, just barely over the
I
top.
thought that was good.
It looked good from here, but of course we have no eyes of any umpires.
Or do we?
Well, arguably. Some. That one just a tick inside, it seems. 2-0 on Loyal.
And both of those were good pitches. They could have leaned either way.
Absolutely. Still some good work here from Blanchard. 2-0, runners on the corners with 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. So that one will ride high, 3-0.
And this is a situation you don't like to see a young pitcher in. 3-0, runners on the corners. 2 outs, you can still get out of it.
Not a favorable count in any way here with runners threatening. That one sneaks in there for strike number 1. Still hitters count here with Loyal completely in control.
He had the PCI on there. Perfectly placed in the bottom corner.
Blanchard with the running taken off for second, and the walk loads the bags here. As that pitch rode high. Cooper Loyal drawing it.
Now batting number 6, Anthony Scarabino.
So the bag's chocked full. Anthony Scarabino, the left-handed hitter, going against the righty Blanchard. Scarabino's 0-2 on the day. 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. High for ball 1 from Blanchard.
You would have liked to see Blanchard go into the zone on that first pitch.
Definitely important to start off this at-bat well. Has momentum, seems to be leaning towards Albany. A solid strike there from Blanchard. Now 1-1. Scarabino. That one skips in front of the plate. A good block there from Michael Toth.
And those are the unspoken plays. He doesn't get his knee down there and block it. That's a run for the Great Danes.
Now Toth asking for time. Takes his watch off and leaves it over to the bench. Actually, I believe that's the pitch comm that he had to take off.
Has to be what it is.
Must have gotten hit there by the ball when he blocked.
Game of inches.
So 2-1 count here on Scarabino with 2 outs. And nowhere to put him. J.J. Blanchard, the freshman, in his second inning of his debut. That one fouled back. 2-2 on Scarabino.
Let's go. Come on, boy.
Count even at 2-2 here. Outs at any base with 2 down in the top of this 5th. Blanchard, the fire, fouled away again.
We're going to be looking at an at-bat that could decide the way the rest of this game goes.
Absolutely. This is a strong at-bat here, like the one we saw from Feremi in the earlier inning working that walk. Blanchard, the ball inside, that runs the count full. And the UMass crowd was hyped for that one. It was a great pitch. He's not missing by much, but...
And that's 3 or 4 pitches now that the umpires called that were either just outside or maybe even the wrong call. Who are we to question? But
it's definitely close. Now full count here, 2 outs. Everyone's going. That one grounded, foul.
And he's just going to keep trying to wear out Blanchard's arm.
Absolutely. We'll do it again with a 3-2 count here. If you're Blanchard, you've got to be feeling at least a little frustrated here with how much this batter's making you work.
And if you're Scarabino, you know who you're going against. You know it's more of a mental game than it is a physical game at this point.
So once again, 3-2, 2 outs. Everyone's going to be running with the bags full here. Pitch to Scarabino, swing and miss, strike 3. The UMass crowd explodes as Blanchard walks off stoically, managing the bases loaded situation. 1-0 UMass, middle of the 5th.
And that is just a great pitch. And it takes a lot of guts to go down low there, knowing that if there's no swing, it's a run. Saves the inning, leaves them unscathed. And UMass are going to get a chance at the bottom of the 5th to extend upon their 1-0 lead, Tim. It's been a really good game.
Absolutely. That's got to feel great if you're UMass watching this one. All these hitters have got to be fired up. They want to support this pitcher now after he's given you all you could have in a debut here.
We've got a new pitcher on the mound now for the Great Danes. Quinn ready to take the mound for Albany.
Another lefty here working against that heavy lefty UMass lineup. As you said, Thomas Quinn. I'm not going to even try to say that one with your New York specialties. Please help me.
You want to know something? Because I don't know who this is, but that's my hometown.
That's your hometown.
I'm from Nyack, New York. I am flabbergasted because I have no idea who that is.
That's incredible.
Where did he go to high school? It'll say. It'll say go down.
Skidmore. Oh, Skidmore College's freshman year.
St. Joe's. Okay. Yeah, no, that's the private school near me. Nyack, New York, on the map. Wow. Who is that?
Thomas Quinn. How did you not know? That's an incredible find here. The 5'11", 180-pound junior.
Wow.
And last year was only able to throw 2 2/3 innings with an injury coming. So far this year has shined in a reliever role, at least early in the year, He had been locked down for 5 1/3 straight innings against Lamar, Longwood, and Hofstra. 3 strong series for the Albany Great Danes, and then broke down a little bit in these last 2 appearances against Leahy. Gave up 4 runs while only managing 1 out, and against Bryant went 2/3 innings, but gave up 2 runs and 4 hits along the way. So now heading up against the UMass lineup, Michael Toth leading off for the Minutemen.
And a good first pitch for the Nyack native. I'm just going to keep saying it. I'm flabbergasted.
It's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
Well, happy first baseball broadcast, Dylan, as Toth threatened the bunt right there. That strike files in 0-2 on the Minuteman backstop. Toth fouls that one off towards the UMass dugout. Remains 0-2 here in the bottom of the 5th. Thomas Quinn, the Nyack native, of course.
Of course.
That one high, first ball. His appearance here, 1-2 on Toth. Another one flying high there, just lost grip of his curveball there, seems, for Quinn. Count evens up at 2-2. Swing and a miss there from Toth as Quinn starts out his outing with a K.
Next up for the Minutemen, number 16, Gavin O'Brien.
So Gavin O'Brien stepping in for the Minutemen. Personal opinion here. Travis Scott's best song as his walk-up song. That's a personal opinion.
No.
It's a personal opinion.
No.
Clearly he agrees it's his walk-up.
It's not Travis's best song. 90210 is a basic pick, but you got to go with it.
Well, I've got a baseball player agreeing with me. Maybe you have one too. You know, Nyack, New York native might work in the same blood flow.
I don't think everyone from my town has the same Travis Scott opinions as me.
Oh, you think you're a little different?
No, I don't think I'm different. I said it was basic.
Okay.
No, I admitted to it being basic, but
That one, curveball sneaking in the top part of the zone there. Strike number 2 on O'Brien. One, two, one out. Delivery there gets away from McElwee. So 2-2 on the Minuteman left fielder.
and 1 out on the inning, nobody on base.
That one ripped into left field, getting down the line, just barely fair. O'Brien rounding first, heading into second, and he'll have a comfortable double in the second at-bat of the bottom of the 5th here.
And that's about as perfectly as it could have been placed. A great shot curved over towards the left side foul pole down the third base line, and it just stayed in.
Those are the ones as a hitter you're watching as you're going down the line. Please stay in, please stay in. And when it sneaks in there and it keeps rolling into foul ground, you know you got a free extra base, and I'm sure O'Brien's happy with that outcome. As back to the top of the order here for the Minutemen with Anthony Tirado, lefty on lefty against Quinn.
Tirado, the freshman from Cheshire, Connecticut. 2 homers this season off of 18 hits. Good, powerful hitter. We've talked about this freshman core being pretty powerful.
Absolutely. Stars flying, especially for Tirado, the leading batting average man on the team. As he took ball one right there after strike one fouled in. So 1 out, 1-1 on Tirado. And O'Brien leading off a second as Tirado threatened the bunt right there. The curveball over the top of the zone taken for ball number 2.
And he just backed away in time for them not to call that a strike.
Yeah, good quick reflexes there from Tirado. Another ball up high for Quinn. Hitters count now, 3-1.
Took the words out of my mouth. And he was 0 for 6 against Fordham on the 23rd. So not the hottest hitter, but man on second, 1 out.
Swing and a miss there. Looks like some off speed outside. Once again, hard to track, lefty-lefty. Swing looked a little bit foolish there, I'll say. So full count, the fire from Quinn. Foul tip into the glove. It'll be caught for the strikeout. So Tirado is sat down. Matt Travisano, the shortstop, coming up.
And this is another crucial at-bat for this Minutemen team. In the lead, man on second.
Some patience there, watching strike one come through. And absolutely, you want to make the most out of this at-bat with O'Brien on second still. You know, you haven't had many scoring chances early in this game. You definitely want to capitalize here if you're the Minutemen. As Travisano watches a curveball fly high for ball number 1. That one, another off speed. Travisano just watching it go back through the zone.
And Quinn is another pitcher who's looking back at the second baseline.
Swing and a miss there from Travisano, and that'll close the 5th inning. UMass leaves a runner stranded on second base as back-to-back strikeouts eliminate the scoring chance, and good work there from Albany to close out a tough situation.
And very aware there from Quinn. Sees that O'Brien's on base, starting to lead off a little bit. Doesn't decide to make the pickoff, and then throws a strike on basically the same motion. Really good play there.
I'll tell you, the talents of Nyack, New York are really shining out here, Dylan.
I appreciate it, Tim. Where are you from?
Wakefield, Massachusetts.
I don't know what that is.
Well, if you're familiar with Callie Godek.
Okay.
Of
formerly of
A10 fame. Well, she's not from Wakefield, but when I mentioned I was to her, she mentioned a UMass player who had come from there. I'm struggling to remember his name. Ryan Marcus.
Ryan Marcus. Ah, yes. He was played on senior day last year. That's what we'll say.
Obviously a member of the Minutemen team, I believe, for all 4 years.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's something you see commonly in today's game. Of course, the transfer portal in basketball opening up the other day. Jalen Curry entering his name in that portal this morning.
Amadou Doumbia as well. And not so happy, but listen, it's just the way that this works.
Yeah, you've heard, of course, Minuteman coach Frank Martin talk about it all year. You know, that's just the way sports are going. For this Minuteman baseball team, you certainly hope not. We've mentioned their freshman core so much and how great it would be for them to keep that together over these next couple of years.
Yeah, and listen, it's hard to do. It's just hard to do at the end of the day. And we'll see what happens.
So now for the Minutemen, it looks like we've got a pitching change up here. I believe that's Jack Levine. I will check very quickly.
It's Dylan Terwilliger, right-handed pitcher from Medford, New Jersey. I like that name.
Terwilliger. You're absolutely right. That's a wonderful name.
I was referring to the first name.
Oh, Dylan.
Yeah.
Well, clearly I don't have the Nyack, New York smarts on me to piece that one together.
This might be, I was just thinking this might be the first ever broadcast where we've got two people with a Y as the second letter in their name on the same call together.
You know, that's an odd thing to think of,
Yeah.
but I think you might be right, Dylan. I would have never pieced that one together. Terwilliger's last appearance was against Towson, through 3 innings, 4 hits, and 3 earned runs in that one, also with 3 walks. So a rough one, definitely trying to refine his rhythm here as he fires in strike number 1. In the top of the 6th here for the Minutemen, leading 1-0. As a swing and a miss brings it to 0-2 on Aaron Herbst. Who has reached base twice here against the Minutemen. First hit by pitch, then drew a walk on Blanchard. And a swing and a miss there, down on 3 pitches. And a great spike of that breaking ball into the ground for Terwilliger. Just a script strikeout right there to start off his outing.
1, 2, 3 needs to happen. And a great way to start the game for Terwilliger.
Now stepping in for Albany, Thomas McElwee.
Made a big play defensively as the catcher. And then also was the catcher who let the run go through his legs to open the scoring for UMass.
Ups and downs for the typical backup catcher for Albany as he took strike number 1 there. Terwilliger fires again. Bit of a sidearm release from him here. It's definitely an interesting angle that these batters have to deal with. And he's thrown 5 straight strikes here to start off his outing. That one down into the dirt, and yeah, we can call it a commentator curse again, Dylan.
We tried that one.
Of course, in my head, I'm thinking immaculate innings coming, and no, it is not. It's such a rarity. It's a beautiful thing when it happens.
Yeah.
That one swung on and missed by McElwee. Strikeout number 2 on the inning, and out number 2 as Terwilliger starting off strong here in relief in the top of the 6th. So 0-2, or excuse me, 0-0, 2 outs for Lewis Caleb.
Strike 1 there on the tip ball. Just went over Toth's helmet into the netting. We are protected here.
Absolutely. Very nice setup, I was telling Alex earlier, directly behind home plate here. Get a great view of this beautiful field here.
Maybe 1 blind spot. Can't do much better than that.
Yeah. That one fired back up the middle. A sweet stroke from Louis Caleb. To get a single here with 2 outs.
And Terwilliger's pitched a really good inning so far, but that one's going to sting.
Up now, number 4.
I just left it over the plate. Simple inside-out swing. That rode that one into center field. As the top of the order comes back up for the Danes, Luke Myers. Got a single in his last at-bat. Pops up the bunt. Jack Beverly slides in for the play. Incredible reflexes sprinting in there. Myers has got to be kicking himself for letting that one pop up in the air.
And it really wasn't even that high. It was a good heads-up play by Beverly again to go out there and slide and grab it, and it was definitely catchable. It wasn't like it was an absurd catch, but it wasn't the worst bunt.
I think the slide made it quite dramatic.
Yeah.
I liked the way he put some flair into it. But either way, Minuteman getting out of the top of the sixth there after the single without any damage done, as it looks like Quinn will be taking the mound again. Excuse me, no, another pitching change after that excellent outing from Quinn.
Number 9, Christian Mello.
Christian Mello. His last appearance coming against Army 14 days ago.
Just 4 hits for Albany, 3 for UMass. UMass's run didn't even come on a hit.
Albany still without a score in this game. They need some clean defense to inspire some more offense here. If you're Albany, obviously a tough couple of innings at the plate where, you get a hit, even loaded the bags at one point and weren't able to cash in. What's that extra step for them to making this offense roll?
What is that extra step? I mean, they're getting on base. It's not few and far between. They've gotten on base pretty much every inning. It's really just being able to capitalize on those opportunities. They've had runners at the corners. They've had a guy on third. It's maybe just not dying in those situations.
Yeah, being able to step up in scoring situations is tough for any hitter, really. As coming up here for the Minutemen.
Now batting for the Minutemen, number 2, Braden Sullivan.
Braden Sullivan, the second baseman, 0-2 on the day.
Now, this is the best walk-up song from a UMass player.
I can agree with that. I'm a bit of a Ho fan
You're
myself.
a Ho fan? Like to hear it.
Strike number 1 flying in there from Chris Mello. Swing and a miss there for number 2. Sullivan down in an 0-2 hole here to start off the at-bat.
And Mello looked slightly disappointed after that pitch, although it was a strike.
Fires that curveball into the ground, as you're scripted to do on an 0-2 count, of course. So 1-2, no outs here in the bottom of the 6th. That one fired over to the third baseman. And out number 1 on the board for Albany.
Now up to bat for the Minutemen, number 11, Jack Beverly.
Beverly, the run scorer, up to bat now for UMass.
Of course, made his way around and into home plate after that pass ball. And, of course, made that nice sliding play to end the top of the inning. Fouls that one back, deflecting off both the catcher and the umpire, I believe.
This one less contested from the UMass bench.
I will say that was a big momentum bringer, potentially, because the bases did end up loaded at the end of that inning. UMass barely escaping there. Now hold a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the 6th. So that one chunked into left field, flying foul for Beverly. Seems like it just caught the inside part of the bat there, not a whole lot of power on it.
And great contact. Great contact, great placement. It just flew a little bit wide. And sometimes not much you can do about it.
Yeah, definitely hugging his hands inside there. Of course, the pitch inside the zone as he'll wave and miss at that one in the dirt. No run attempt on the drop, strike 3, and McElwee seemed to be waiting for it. So out number 2 in the inning for the Minutemen
Batting, number 10,
as
Carter
Mello keeps rolling.
Now it's in the hands of Hansen. Has the double today. That pitch is low and wide.
Ball there on Hansen. 1-0 count with 2 outs here. Ball 2 into the dirt. And the Minutemen feeling some spirit here in the bottom of the 6th. Ball number 3.
It's 3 pitches in a row that were, if not the same, very close to the same. 3-0 count, good position to be in. 2 outs, so we'll see how it even.
Maybe Mello losing focus a little bit here after getting those first 2 outs very easily. Able to reel it back in with a strike right down the middle on the 3-0, making it 3-1.
I know it's not customary to swing on a 3-0 count. I think they should do it.
You don't want any Yerman Mercedes situations here between Reynolds and Hansen as he'll take ball number 4 there. Come on, you gotta like that, Pola. Yerman Mercedes in the middle of a UMass game.
We've got a lot of mentions today.
Yeah.
We've done a good job with our
Jared Nunez.
little polls.
So Jared Munoz digging into the righty batter box here for UMass with Hansen leading off first after drawing the walk right there. Strike number 1 coming on the breaking ball. Minuteman lead 1-0 here. Has that one grounded foul towards third base.
And that
0-2
one,
for Munoz.
that one was one of the more hittable pitches. He just didn't square up on it the right way. Not an ideal spot to be in.
So that one pops away. Carter Hansen gets over to second. And McElwee couldn't find that ball for the life of him. Popped so high in the air, he turned around 3 times and couldn't see it.
And Mello's been pitching the ball low for the past 3 batters now. It wasn't the end of the world for him. He got one of them out, but
1-2 count now on Munoz. That one sent down the right field line, curves foul.
it looked good off the bat.
Almost looked like a screwball the way it came off of the bat there. Not a pitch I think you'll ever see a big leaguer throw these days, except Devin Williams, I'll say, is pretty close with his changeup.
Pretty close, but it's not quite there.
Not quite there. It's a back pick to Hansen there at second base. Gets in cleanly. Just checking on the tricky runner there. Of course, a quick outfielder showed that speed, making that catch a few innings prior. Now definitely a threat on the bags as he stands at second. It's a 1-2 count on Munoz. And a swing and a miss, that ball in the dirt. McElwee picks it up, fires to first, and that'll end the inning with UMass leading 1-0 still after 6. Good work there from Chris Mello to manage that situation. And we'll take a break here at the end of the 6th with Albany coming up, trailing 1-0.
We're back here on WMUA 91.1, the home for all things Minutemen sports. And the first pitch is in as a strike. Second pitch up, strike 2 there.
Fouled off and out of play here, as we've got a tough situation here as far as this broadcast goes. The computer we're running off of ticking down to 4% here in the top of the 7th, as UMass is leading 1-0. 1-2 right now to Luke Filippi. That ball rides outside, so 2-2. Not sure exactly what time we'll cut out here as the battery runs low.
We'll do what we can.
We'll do what we can, absolutely. You know, what fresh start doesn't come with a couple hiccups, Dylan?
Oh, everything's a learning experience. Everything you move on forward from. This one, I mean, not much you could have done.
No. No, really not. I swear it was fully charged when we came in.
I believe it.
Yeah. Just ran out, a lot going on here. It's a big production we've got. This count ran full, and now a walk for Felipe.